I've got 3 pennies here. I've got Edward the 7th, what's that, 1909. There's a George the 5th, 1936, and George the 6th from 1937. So what could I have bought for 3 pence, for 3 pennies, threepence in 1940? Well, I could have bought this magazine, Illustrated. Illustrated Weekly, as it used to be called, changed its name just to Illustrated, and it ran between 1934 and 1958. And this one was from April the 13th, 1940, so it was a wartime issue. People are asking me, when are the penny hunts coming back? Well, I've got some on order, so it won't be long. There's a camel there, part of the Desert Patrol, and a young bugler. I think that's a bugle, looks like it. Also an article on A Farm Goes to War by John Morgan MP, and lots of adverts. The adverts are my favourite. The camel looks happy. So how could you have paid for this magazine? Well, obviously with the 3 pennies, you could have paid like that, or you could have paid with one of these. A threepenny bit, 3 pence. There he is, George VI, 1937. That was the first year of release of these brass 12-sided coins. There was a very similar design for the King's brother, Edward VIII, but they were never released into circulation. So you could have paid with that, or you could have paid with one of these. Again, a 3 pence coin, 1937 again. George VI, this time it would be a silver, 50% silver. Now they did circulate together, these 2 different coins. This one was due to be phased out. It was last minted for circulation in 1944. They did mint some of these in 1945, but they were all melted down again. All but one. I think one is known. There might be another one, so look out for a 1945 silver threepenny bit. Worth a fortune. You could have also paid with halfpennies and farthings. They were still circulating at the time. Or you could have paid with a 6pence and got a threepenny bit in your change. Now, threepence, or threepence if you were posh, we called it threepence, was equal to about 65 pence in today's money. So that's quite cheap for a magazine. So I imagine that threepence was cheap for a magazine even in 1940. What do you reckon? Let's have a look inside. Deanna Durbin there, big film star in the 40s. And what's this? It says, Mr. E. Freeman of Bath has discovered a remarkable double portrait in our cover of Illustrated for the issue dated March the 9th, which shows the head of an Anzac. What's an Anzac? Someone tell me in the comments. Turn it sideways, cover up the chin, and behold, there is a perfect profile of Long John Silver of Treasure Island, even to the patch over the eye and stubble on the chin, he writes. So that's what it looks like. So if I turn it round, cover the chin, yeah, Long John Silver. Oh, I can see what they're getting at, I think. There's an Ovaltine advert, but no prices. I want prices so we can compare them. Lots of adverts here. So have a look at this one then. Dry, cracked lips spoil your beauty. Vinolia Lipsil. Vinolia, I think that's how you pronounce it. Vinolia Lipsil is supplied in white, red and cerise and costs only 6pence. A Bakelite tube. So 6pence, that would equate to about £1.30, £1.35 in today's money. So what do these little things cost now? I've got no idea. There's a camera here, an Ensign All British Selfix 320. That was 50 shillings, so that's £2.50 in today's money. So what would that be? How much would that cost you in real terms in today's money? Let's have a look. I've googled it. In 1940, 50 shillings was equal to £2.50. Yep, I worked that bit out. Based on the inflation rate since that time, £2.50 in 1940 is worth approximately £178.85 in 2025. I think if you'd got a Selfix 320 now, still in the box unused, it'd be worth a hell of a lot more than £178, wouldn't it? Even used, it'd be worth more than that, surely. Actually, I'm wrong. I've just looked on eBay and there's one there, looks quite nice. Buy it now, £21.50, so it wouldn't have been a very good investment. Right, there's some homemade copper and silver miniatures there, And here we've got a cigarette advert. Men and women with wills to win are smoking Will's Gold Flake. Send Gold Flake cigarettes to members of BEF, British Expeditionary Force, duty free. So you got 120 cigarettes there for 3 and 9, 3 shillings and 9 pence, which is about 19 pence in today's money. Is that a bargain? I don't know. I've never smoked. Right, sultanas are cheap, apparently, from 6pence a pound and plentiful. Figs. If you prefer figs to sultanas, try them chopped up in the recipes given above. I'm not going to read that. Figs are one of the richest sugar foods. They are almost as plentiful as sultanas just now and very economically priced. There's the recipes if you need them. I like sultanas and figs. I can't remember when I last ate any, but I do like them. Right, Farm Goes to War by MP John Morgan, documenting a farmer's struggles in wartime. How Farmer Brown went to war. This Hertfordshire dairy farmer has been asked to put some of his pasture under plough. If his land has been under grass for more than 7 years, he will receive the government subsidy of £2 per acre. I'm going to read all this, it's quite interesting. There's a milking contraption there for trainees. Looks interesting. And this guy here, 14-year-old Edward Porritt from Middlesbrough. If he's still alive, he'll be 99 now, coming up for his 100th birthday. Lots of trainee farmers there. The Quick Change Padre, a man from Berlin, about a German film actor, Karl Stepanek. Can't say I've heard of him. Their Battle's Over Again, another film here. There's a card game going on there. Could be poker. Well, it could be pontoon, actually. And it says there, a well-tattooed Australian. And there he is. Yeah, it's about the making of the film For Freedom, a part dramatised documentary. Desert Patrol. It says here, like the British Army, most of the Egyptian army has been mechanised, but there is one branch of it which will never succumb to the trend of modern warfare. This is the famous and picturesque Camel Corps. And there they are, moving across the desert. I could do a penny hunt in the desert and call it Desert Coin Patrol. He looks very jolly. They also had, as it says here, some modern trucks and armoured cars. There's an article on Paul Reynaud, the French Prime Minister at the time. Oops. It's coming apart, look. Rusty Staples. Rusty Staples. Wasn't that a character in Crossroads? Alright, who we got here then? Josephine, chimpanzee and glamour girl of the apes. With a soft, sentimental look on her face, Josephine will sit for hours, her back against a tree trunk, keeping Virgil over her sleeping baby. Why is it a problem child? If you want to know, you can pause it and read that. What's next? Photo crime. Oh, interested in that, are we? Gambling man. Story about Frank Gondon, the gambler. Some more adverts on this page. What's this? A man and the fans. Come round this afternoon, Sergeant Major, and I'll give you a game. I hope there'll be no one about, he says. And they've all come to hear me play. Oh yeah, because they shout a lot, don't they? Okay. Right, here's an advert. Yorkshire Relish. I say, sausages are all the better for Yorkshire Relish. I suppose I better do it in a Yorkshire accent, hadn't I? Here, up, lad. Happen sausages are all better for Yorkshire Relish. Fantastic, happy days. There we go. Sounded like a born and bred Yorkshireman then, didn't I? So I assume they're glass bottles, thick sauce or thin sauce. Right, the thin sauce, we can have a small bottle for 2pence. We can have a bigger bottle for 6pence. What's the next one? 9pence. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Or a big bottle for 1 and 3. So we want 1 shilling and 3pence, 1 and 3. There's the guy starting the engine. Is he the chauffeur? They find energy for the hardest jobs, thanks to the 30-second breakfast, and it's cornflakes. So that's 5p for a packet of cornflakes. Now, it doesn't tell you how big it is, doesn't tell you how many ounces that is, so we don't know if it's a bargain or not, do we? On the next page, here's something to laugh at. So we've got the professor grows more absent-minded every year. So he's thrown the stick in and he's gone to fetch it himself. Okay, what's this one then? It's this bit, sir. We keep getting it left over. Well, that's true, because whenever I build something like this, I always get something like this left over. I find that happens. What's this one then? Are you a witness in this murder case? No, my lord. Prisoner. Right. And this one is saying, a lighthouse keeper. I'm getting proper sick of doing this every night. Because there's a blackout, he's boarding up his lighthouse every night instead of turning the light out. Well, we're all bereft of ribs on those jokes, aren't we? Right, not much else of interest on there. Lovelies of Japan. Ladies of Japan, 1940 style. Got 2 pages there, yeah. Oh, there's some more of them there. Right, some more adverts. Nothing much interesting there. Right. There's a little cartoon, funny there. You can pause it and read that if you want to. Even if they cost as much as the others, the army would still ask for Army Club, the frontline cigarette. 20 for 1 and a halfpenny. So that's 1 shilling and a halfpenny for 20 cigarettes. Colds, chills and flu. Stop them for 2p. Beecham's powders. This is 85 years ago. I wonder if you told them in the year 2025, it still wouldn't be able to prevent colds and flu. Right, next page, we've got Brenda Breeze by Rolf. Right, she's going into an employment agency. All kinds of help supplied. She's not saying anything. She's grabbing the guy. They're going up the elevator. Someone's shouting help outside the window. And the window cleaner needs help because he's hanging from a skyscraper. I can't be bothered. Fenin's Fever Cure. 1 and 3 a bottle. And it better work for that price. On the next page, there's a Born Vita advert. You can get 9p tins and tins at 1 and 5. So here's a little quiz for you, a little test. If you was going to buy the 1 and 5 tin and you paid with a £0.50, what's the date on that one? 1939. You paid with a £0.50, how much change would you get? Well, you would get 1 shilling and 1 penny change. 1 and 5, 1 and a penny equals 2 and 6. Easy. What we got here then? Indigestion. Relief at once. McLean's brand stomach powder. From all chemists. There's one there, look, per bottle 5 shillings. That's about 15 quid in today's money. Blimey. Quality Street advert there. Look at the size of those tins. 7p a pound. The Trap. That's a story about a farmer trying to catch a poacher. All on the march. Portland style comfort shoes. Prices from 22 and 6 to 26 and 9. Well, 26 and 9 is £1, 6 shillings and 9p, which in decimal would be about £1.34. So you can work out what that is in today's money, can't you? Right, next page. Classical education, little story there, but we won't get into that. Gen aspirin. Kills cold. Ooh, can't say that. Kills colds quickly. Time it. Look at this one. Suppose your dog has a fit. Bob Martin's Fit and Hysteria tablets. Is that still a thing? I've never had a dog. Can you buy Bob Martin's Fit and Hysteria tablets today? At 1 and 3? Probably not at 1 and 3, but can you still buy them? A little cartoon here. Mop and Dust. The War Office char ladies. One saying, I wouldn't like to be a char to Hitler. I suppose he's got staff to do his mopping. The other one saying, yes, we'll do the dusting. Yeah, that was nearly funny. Right, we're nearly there. Okay, what we got on this page? Dry scalp makes your hair dry and unhealthy. Vaseline hair tonic. How much is that? 4p a packet. Keep your lips youthful. More lip balm stuff. Toasted cheese with Hovis. I've got to go and have some cheese on toast now. There's a book here, The Marvels and Mysteries of Science. I can't see a price though. There it is. I found the price hidden away. 2 and 9, 2 shillings and 9p plus a shilling. So that's 3 shillings and 9p. So that's around about a tenner in today's money. Quite expensive for a book back then, I suppose, because they wouldn't have hidden the price away like that, would they? Right, that's it. And it's a bird's custard advert on the back. You could cut that out and frame it, couldn't you? That'd look quite good. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. We got to see some old adverts and some old coins. I'll see you in the next video.